Welcome to Unstoppable Real Estate Investing Wealth. My name is Billy Alvaro, aka the Unstoppable BA, former billion-dollar mortgage banker, gone bankrupt, turned professional real estate investor. Where each week you'll learn the tools, strategies, systems, and secrets myself and other highly successful real estate investing entrepreneurs use to start, grow, and scale their businesses, creating massive profits, and how you can too. And we'll teach you how to put those profits to work so you no longer have to. Get ready to finally experience financial freedom and generational wealth. Now let's get started.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Unstoppable REA Wealth. I'm your host, Billy Alvaro, the Unstoppable BA, and I'm happy to be back. It's a new year, brand new year. We're crushing everything. We have our goals, our visions, and I think this whole New Year thing, when you start off and you try to write everything out, I think it's overblown. I think you should do that every day of your life and just make yourself get to the next level. So today, I'm speaking to somebody who's near and dear to my heart. And the reason being is you guys, well, if you know me or not, you know I was in mortgage banking for years. And the number one thing that investors need who are going to fix and flip and or buy and hold is what? It's freaking money. You need the cash to make the deals happen. And my guest today, who I met about 6 or 7 years ago at an Ignite event, Amy, I'm going to kill your last name, Mahjoory.
You got it. That's perfect.
Amy Mahjoory. Amy is, she's been investing for 10 plus years. She had a TV show on HGTV. She is crushing it in the business, and she's kind of turned her business around where now she's focusing really on coaching and on raising private money, not for herself and her businesses and the passive investments that she has, but she has a shit ton of students that she's teaching us to. And I wanted to get you on because I know, look, I've been doing this podcast for a while. The two complaints I get, Amy, is how do I find the deals? And once I get the deal, how do I get the money? I have no money. How do I do this? And so wanted to have you on. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. Good to see you again. It's been 5 or 6 years, man.
I know. I'm very excited. Thanks for having me. I'm just excited to chat with you and just share as much as I can when it comes to knowing how to raise capital the right way from the right people.
Absolutely. So let's go in first. Tell us like a 5-minute backstory. How'd you get started? And then I want to fast forward into this whole entire, private capital game that you're doing.
Yeah, sure. My background, I always is very traditional, just like most people out there. I was, working this corporate job. I went to school and I worked for Dell Computers for 14 years, which I still can't believe. And then back in 2012, I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to start flipping houses, 1 to 2 properties, just for fun as a side hustle until I land my dream job with Nike. That's what I thought. Well, it's so crazy what happened because I had no experience in real estate. I didn't know what I was doing. I had invested in coaching back in the day as well. And I always say on accident, while I was working my full-time corporate job, I ended up buying, renovating, and selling 10 high-end properties in downtown Chicago, having never done this before. And so the reason I was able to do that was because I knew how to raise capital. So once I looked at that earning potential, and then I genuinely had fallen in love with the process. I was like, oh, forget Nike, resigned from Dell on good terms. And I've been doing this full time ever since.
Good for you.
It's been a great journey, many highs, many lows, many wins, losses, lessons learned, but I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Life of an entrepreneur, ups and downs. You have to have a stomach for this business, any business that you're going to get into, because it's not a straight path up. It's like this.
Yeah. And it's like, and now, unfortunately, sometimes I don't have enough compassion for other people, when they're going through a tough time. Cause I'm like, oh, that's it. You lost 10 grand. Let me tell you my story. Yeah. And I don't do that, but that's what I'm thinking internally. But I'm like, oh my God, you guys, like take a few hard hits. It's going to make you so much stronger.
So tell me, when you got in investing in real estate, immediately from the beginning, you realized that the number one thing you're going to need is the cash. And did you start from the beginning thinking, I have to start networking and raising money? Was that in your mindset?
So great question. For me, no, because naturally, and I didn't realize this naturally, I'm just good at building rapport and trust with people. I'm a good networker. So raising capital for me from day one, it was never hard. And that's why I never understood, why isn't everybody doing this? I don't understand. Why are you canceling this contract? All you need is 200 grand. So it just came naturally to me. But it wasn't until just a year and a half ago that I actually started helping other people raise capital. I launched a coaching program because for the previous 8 years, people were like, you should do this, you should do this. And I was like, no, I'm not interested in that. But that's kind of how I got to where I am today. I know we skipped a lot in the middle, but I never had to think twice about it.
So you just naturally have this understanding of how to connect with people. Take us through, what do you do when you're speaking with somebody? Like, let's go through some of these like interview processes. You have a deal. Let me ask you this question first. Should a person raise money when they have the deal, or should a person raise money continuously in their process as they're building their business?
Continuously. We do not want to wait until we find the deal to raise the capital. Now, I'm not saying it's too late, but I agree with you, Billy. The two hardest things we are tasked with as real estate investors, regardless of what our strategy is finding the deal and raising the money. So the last thing we want to worry about is, oh, we've got this amazing deal locked up and we're scrambling to the closing table to get the financing in place. We don't want to worry about that. So you're always 24/7, the minute you leave your house, anyone you encounter, even your neighbor, is a prospective private money lender. And you want to always be wearing that marketing hat.
So take us through, how do you go, if you have no experience investing, and start to actually build that trust with somebody who has $50 or $100 or $200,000, where now you, as the real estate investor with limited, I guess, experience, you're trying to convince this other individual to part with his or her money and believe in you and invest that dollar or that $100,000 with you? How do you earn that trust? What does that process look like?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that we can do. Now, one of the most powerful, as you are starting to raise capital, regardless of your newer experience, you guys, it doesn't matter, regardless if you're full-time or part-time, is what I call my 20-second power pitch. And I'll tell you where to go. You guys can have a copy if you would like. But basically, I'm sure we all know what a 60-second elevator pitch is, right? So a 20-second power pitch is something I've created where it's basically who you are and what you do and what's in it for them and what's in it for you in less than 20 seconds. I even have a 4-second one for you New Yorkers. I've learned that you guys don't even have 20 seconds to get out there and, plant seeds. But that's what you're doing. And if you would like, I can role play it or rattle it off for you. Would you like me to do that?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So when I was working at Dell, a decision that I had made was, I'm never going to talk about Dell again. I'm going to focus on real estate, even though I'm still working for Dell. And even if it costed me my job, I didn't care. I'm not telling you guys to go out there and put your other jobs on the line. That's just a decision I make. So whenever I was out and about and somebody would say, oh, Amy, it's so nice to meet you. How have you been these days? Or what do you do for a living? I would go right into my 20-second power pitch, something along the lines of, oh, it's so great to meet you. I'm a residential redeveloper based out of downtown Chicago and currently on track to renovate 10 properties over the next 12 months. And my investors love it because they get to kick back and relax while we do all the work and they earn double digits with a protected asset. What was it that you said that you do again? It's so nice to meet you. A little more breezy, right? Breezy and softer in my delivery. And so immediately they're like, whoa, this girl in her gym clothes is doing 10 high-end properties, investors, double digits. Like, what do you mean? Tell me more.
It gets the conversation going. It piques their interest. And puts you on a completely higher level platform just by that opening 20 seconds. It's brilliant.
Yeah, and then that's it. We're not asking for anything. We're just planting seeds. But this is something I said and carried with me 24/7, whether I knew my audience or not. I never said, oh, I work for Dell and I really don't like my job and I don't know what I'm doing in real estate, but I'm sure I'll figure it out. Like, nobody wants to hear that, right? You got to deliver this power pitch with confidence, even if you're still building out, your team and your systems. And the 4-second pitch for, my East Coasters who are listening is I show people how to earn double digits by investing in real estate.
Boom. That's it. And then what they're going to come back and say? They're going to be, well, what do you mean? What do you do? How do you do that?
Yeah, the more I keep, talking to my students, the more I actually like the 4-second one better. And I'm thinking about just completely eliminating the 20-second one. But yeah, that's how you just start planting seeds. And eventually, the more seeds you plant, the more interest that you will capture of others. And I'm not just saying people that you know. I'm going to tell you, you can get out there and raise capital without targeting your friends and family members, because so many educators will say, oh, it's easy, just go ask your friends and family. No, what if you don't want to? What if they don't support you? What if they're not in a position to invest?
What if they have no money, right?
Yeah, so it's like, I'm going to be the first person to tell you, no, go target the person on, in your Uber, go target your Uber driver, go target people at the airport. If you live in a big city, the metro, whatever. And it's the same system, the same process for everyone. And then as you start to capture their interest, you start to go to coffee talks, 30 minutes max. But that's when you start dropping credibility piece after credibility piece at every single one of those meetings. And then that's what gets you to build rapport and trust with them so that they end up investing with you in as little as 3 weeks. So
yeah, the key is what you're saying is that, one, you have to be consistent in what you're doing, right? If you're going to do anything, whether it's marketing to drive in business, whether it's doing your elevator pitch or your 60-second power pitch or 40-second power pitch, it has to be done deliberately with intent on a consistent basis. Because if you're not doing things consistently with intent behind it, you're not going to get the results you're looking for. Mm-hmm. And so if you're listening, driving in leads, raising private capital, you can't go out and have 5 conversations and say this shit doesn't work, because you're not working the system. If you don't work the system isn't going to work for you. You got to be consistent in what you're doing to put your message out there and constantly meet and talk with everybody. To your point, you basically said you can meet an Uber driver, you can go to the airport. It's anywhere you go, you have a mouthpiece, you interact and connect with people and start talking about what you're doing, but not in a salesy way. And your pitch is perfect. Everybody asks, hey, so what do you do? I do this. What do you do, Amy? And then boom, it's your opportunity to go right in with that pitch. Without pitching, it piques their interest and they're like, well, tell me more. What do you mean? How long have you been doing this? How do you get double digits? How do you do all the work and the investor makes all the money? It gets the conversation going.
Yeah, exactly. And before this, you guys, it really starts with mindset. You genuinely have to believe that you're providing others with an opportunity to invest, because if you don't believe that, it's not going to work. I can give you 50 different scripts, but if you don't believe it and you don't have that level of confidence in your delivering your tonality, forget it. They're not going to give you the time of day. So you have to really understand, why are you raising capital? What are the benefits to raising capital? Because we've all had those, fears and objections. I don't have any experience. I got to prove myself first. I'm always being told I got to have skin in the game. No, you don't. Skin in the game is your name, right? The skin in the game is your deal. You don't have to bring anything to the closing table. You can get out there and raise 100% private money for the purchase, renovation, and all your carrying costs, right? You just have to have systems in place and know what you're doing.
And to your point, Amy, you really have to have the right mindset. I think that, nobody wants to hear it, but in any business they get into, it really comes down to one thing. If you believe it and conceive it, you can achieve it. And most people that get into business when they're new, they start having that self-limiting belief, that self-talk inside their head. And it really does come through in your tonality. It comes through when you're speaking. You come off as aloof. You come off as insecure or not sure about what's going on. People pick up on that and they're going to kill you. You have to believe what you're saying when you're saying it, even if you have zero experience. The mindset thing, I don't want to overlook this. It's so freaking important. Mindset is everything with everything. And so when you're getting into this business, if you're a guy or a girl who's been doing this business for a while and you have some traction behind you, or if you're absolutely brand new, you have to go out with the mindset that you're going to raise this capital. You don't need it. People need you. And you have to have that mindset that you're attracting. You're not going after, you're actually pulling people in towards you.
Oh, totally. And you will, and it's okay to turn away money from people whose ethics and morale do not align with yours. I have a couple of weird, shady stories that I will not share from potential lenders who I was like, no, thank you. I don't have time for that. That's not how I roll. Right. It's pretty cool, because once you know what you're doing, it becomes fun. It turns into a game. It's like Monopoly, and you will be turning away, more money than you even need. You're going to have more money coming in than you need, because you don't even realize that you're going to start raising capital 24/7.
So let me ask you this. So let's go through, we break out the first piece, which is the introduction, the conversation to get this going, the pitch, the power pitch. You break that. What does it look like from there? Let's just go through some steps that people
what would be easy is if let me take you through, it's my 4-step process. It's called my FACT framework, FACT. And that's just a unique methodology that I created to help listeners remember what to do. So the F is building your foundation. Now that starts with what we talked a little bit about, Billy, like your mindset, right? And getting everything ready behind the scenes before you start taking action. Action is step 2 of my FACT framework. Now, step 1 of taking action is your 20-second power pitch. There's a lot that goes into that though, right? It's making sure you got the right online presence, the right social media strategy. You're going to be tapping into every single marketing strategy that you can. And even with a $0 marketing budget, it doesn't matter. This can be done. We're going to time block. You're going to come up with goals. So these are all things you want to do as you build your foundation, start to take action. As you start dropping seeds with that 20-second power pitch, you want to start scheduling 30-minute coffee talks. So this is a really powerful one. It's a strategy I share with my students inside of my course as early as module 1. It's something called my 1x4x30 method. And this is something I did, and you said it, keyword, Billy, consistently every single Thursday when I was first getting started. So 1x4x30, 1 day a week, I would pre-schedule 4 30-minute coffee talks. And my day of the week was Thursdays. I would go, and this is when I was living in downtown Chicago and a condo. So I would go down to the Starbucks in our building, and I would purposely schedule 4 30-minute coffee talks back to back. I didn't keep time in between because I wanted the private money lender who was coming in for the next meeting to see that I was already sitting down with someone else. And
Smart. I just, if I could pause you right there, that is brilliant how you did that, because that creates that scarcity piece, and it creates a little bit of almost like when you have an open house and you have 50 people walking at the same time, everybody's going to bid a little higher. When you have people coming in to meet you to raise capital, one person's leaving, another person's coming in, you have one opportunity that you're presenting, it's going to get those people to raise their hands and say, yo, Amy, I want to be able, that last guy that left, I want to be able to put my money to work. Like, use me, not him. You know, it's brilliant.
yeah, thank you. But it was fun too, right? Because eventually you start weeding out the people that you don't like, right? And it becomes fun. Like your private money lender become your friends, your family. You start to travel with them. That comes later. But this is really important, you guys. Here's what I did not do. Since Thursdays was my day, to focus in on coffee talk, that doesn't mean I would wake up Thursday morning and scramble to find 4 people to call. No, that means I'm spending Friday through Tuesday proactively finding the right people to sit down face to face with and meet for 30 minutes. A lot of times a follow-up question is, oh, well, how do we do this during this pandemic? And it's even easier now, you guys, to talk to people. You know how much time I'd rather save by just chatting with someone via Zoom? I mean, it doesn't matter. You still get the same results. You can still build rapport and trust through the computer.
Yeah.
But so that was just another way that you guys can start to take action. Now there are 100 different places you can go to find these people. In your own backyard, through various, networking events, RIAs, fundraising events. I mean, you name it. But before you sit down with them, step 3 of my FACT framework is the credibility piece. You want to make sure you have gathered, customized, and created all of your credibility pieces. So for example, I have 13 different credibility pieces that I use in my business, that my students use in their businesses. So every time we have a coffee talk, I drop 1, 2, or 3 different credibility pieces, depending on who it is that I'm talking to. So that's what you're doing during those coffee talks. And sometimes you will share your credibility pieces with your lender before the coffee talk to address all of their questions. Now, when you're seated with them, you actually have time to get personal and learn about them and their family. And this is how you start to build that long-term rapport and trust, especially from people who are not a part of your inner circle just yet. So there's a lot that goes into it, but there's a way to make it less overwhelming and know how to deliver content in a very clear and concise manner.
And that's what your course teaches.
Yeah. And then so then step 4 of the FACT framework is the transactions, right? So you consistently do, steps 1, 2, and 3. consistently implement them, and then the transactions will start to follow. So once the transactions come in, and what I mean by that is you've converted a private money lender, that doesn't mean we're done, right? So what does your nurture system look like? And when I talk about a nurture system, I don't just mean sending a text message or an auto response email campaign. No, you want to really take care of that relationship so that number one, they reinvest, and number two, they give you more, they invest more with you. So there's a whole other system for that as well, right? What does that follow-up system look like once they've invested with you? But that's an extremely high level, but that's the fact framework and how you guys can start, with mindset, building your foundation, starting to take action. And again, Billy, I can give you a link now or later, or tell you guys where to go to download my power pitch if you guys would like to start, implementing this stuff now.
Yeah, why don't you give it to them? I think it's important. It's a good give.
Okay, so if you just go to amymahjoory.com, you can see my name on the screen. At the very top of the website, you'll see download the power pitch for free. You can download that. I've even recorded a 3-minute training tutorial that comes with it. You can watch it, take notes. You can make it your own if you want, but why? You don't need to. This is what I've been doing for 10 years and it works. So, but it's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun. And there's so much we can do with private money. If you don't want to fix and flip, you don't want to wholesale, fine. Go buy a bunch of rental properties. Go start your own fund, right? Go invest in a commercial syndication. You can do whatever you want when you have access to capital.
You've been raising money since day one. You've been in this business for 10 years, in real estate investment side?
Yeah.
How much do you think over the last 10 years did you raise?
So it's funny because I should not have stopped counting. I know in my very first year, I raised 4.4 million. Once I hit 20 million, I just stopped counting.
Yeah. It's not even worth how do I keep track of this?
Yeah. And I've got other, fellow investors and educators. Some of you may call them competitors. I don't believe in that, who are like, oh, I've raised way more than that. And I'm like, dude, it doesn't matter. It's all the same. I don't keep track of every dollar now. But yeah, my point there is, you guys, once you know how to raise capital, it's going to have a snowball effect on everything that you do. Now I don't need to implement every single step of my fact framework. I pick up the phone and I have what I need within 24 hours, usually the same day, right? But it took me years, a while to, get to that point. And that's why eventually, after 8 years of investors all over the country saying, help me, you should start a coaching program. Finally, it wasn't until I got pregnant with my daughter that I was like, oh yeah, I don't want to get on an airplane anymore and keynote speak or teach other people, for other companies. I'm going to just create my own coaching program. So it was just a year ago in September that I launched my own private money coaching program. And now, kind of like we were talking about, Billy, from the comfort of my own home, I don't have to leave the home office. I get to help other investors all over the country, crush their goals and raise capital. And
I want the listeners to realize, you're just not some fly-by-night chick who came out here and just started to raise money. You have this program. You have a real serious background. You had HGTV, you had your show. You were a serious coach for a huge coaching company where you would go out and just consistently train. And as you were doing that, you have been actively, you're not a fake coach where you're coaching and you have no investments. You're a real active real estate investor that has a portfolio. You're fix and flip and wholesale. You're basically done. Now you're just investing long-term, buy and hold wealth, whether it's single families or larger buildings. And I think you said before our talk, you have an interest in over 500 million of you with your money invested in projects with the value of over $500 million. I mean, if you want to learn how to raise private capital, you don't want to go to somebody who's been doing this for a year and has really no credibility behind them. I've known Amy for 6 years. I can vouch. I don't say this just to say it. You know what you're doing. You're a hard worker. You're a smart worker. You bring your shit to the table. You know how to act and interact with people. You're an awesome networker, and you kill it when you raise capital. So it's the truth, man. I give it where it should be given. And so if you're listening to the podcast, if you're watching the video on YouTube, check out Amy's website. Her last name is spelled Mahjoory. It's AMY, amymahjoory.com. And Amy, I know we're going to have, you put together this whole coaching thing. My people who are on my podcast, I'm going to give them a $500 discount off of if they use my link, right? So
yeah,
I want to give back. I don't really need the money. So we put together a special link. It is raisingpm.com/Billy.
mm-hmm.
And on there, you go check out Amy's program. What's the price tag for it? It's not expensive, but it's not cheap. It's like, I think you're actually underpriced it for what you give. So let's talk about the program first. Before
I agree.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. And, you know, as I start to share with you what you guys get in my coaching program, I am not the kind of coach who's going to tell you what you want to hear. Okay, so I'm going to give you the good, the bad, the in between. I have made my students cry before, like in a bad way. So if you can't handle that, then don't call me, because I'm a product of the system. I've had coaches and mentors, and it works. I'm literally handing you everything on a silver platter. All you have to do is take action and implement. The only way to fail is to not take action. And so right now, I just have one coaching program. This is all going to change in Q2. And I basically call it the 3 C's. So what you guys get access to is the course, which is 8 different modules. It's all hosted online. It's a self-study program, over 50 different video tutorials, lessons, scripts, workbooks, you name it, things you have and have not thought of when it comes to raising capital. I'm talking about interviewing your lenders, proof of funds letters, what to say when you're talking to someone from Wall Street versus the neighbor next door. And it's lifelong access. And remember, like Billy said, I'm still an active investor. So every time I have a new strategy, I roll it out to all of my students. So that's number 1, is the course. Number 2 is you get access to the community. So like a lot of other educators, we have a private Facebook group. I don't outsource any of this, you guys. This is all I do. So you get access to me directly. You got questions, put them on our Facebook group, interact with other students all over the country. That usually leads to a lot of joint venture deals that happen, which our students love. And it's cool because when they actually listen and take action, they see results in as little as 3 weeks. So in addition to the coaching in the community, you get, number 3, you get lifelong access to live coaching with me. And that's every single Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern time. We do a 1-hour session of Q&A. Hop on. It's your time. We go through anything and everything you have as it pertains to your deals, only on private money. I can sit here and teach you everything else, but I don't want to. Okay, so this is just a private money coaching program. You get all 13 of my credibility pieces. So it's pretty cool. So you get all of that for a one-time investment of $3,497. That's it.
$34.97. But I don't want to gloss over. You know, you're giving lifetime coaching. So a new person comes in 3 years into this process, they can still tap into you, your network, go on these coaching calls, get feedback. It's not like they pay and then every month they have to re-up, or at the end of every year you're going to increase your fee. It's like a one-time fee. They're in. That's it.
You're right. I did gloss over that. Yeah, this is huge, you guys. There is no other educator who is going to give you a lifetime coaching, especially for $3,497. However, I told you I'm very direct and transparent. This is changing in Q2. So what, April? April?
It's too cheap, man. That's a look for you to give all your effort and time. And I'm not, it's good if people get in, but if you're going to get in because $34.97 for lifetime coaching with everything, that's a very, and I know in the beginning you do, we all do in the beginning to get people in, prove the concept, like, hey, it works. I got students that are crushing it. Now you're going to increase. But I got to tell you, if you're listening, like, I'm a sales guy, but I'm not trying to sell your thing. I just know you and I know it works. I know people have used it.
Right.
And so if you're looking to raise capital and you're struggling with this and you want to grow your wealth, you want to grow your fix and flip business, you want to grow your portfolio of buy and hold, it all comes down to deals and money. You got to marry the two. You got to get good at both of those. Amy could fix 50% of that problem.
Yeah.
All the money coaching calls that you're going to be doing this whole course you have.
Yeah, thank you. So, and that all goes away, right? You'll get grandfathered in to the lifelong coaching, but that all goes away. And I will have different levels, so on and so forth. So you guys, now is the time. It's a brand new year. Take action. It really does work. It's like I always say at my live events, if I could sit here and force you to invest in something, invest in this. Now, again, you have to have the discipline to be coachable and take action, right? And that's it. It's that simple. I've literally laid everything out for you. So
yeah,
the
and
choice
it comes down to mindset and implementation. You have to implement, you have to execute, you got to go into this with the right mindset. It's not going to happen for you. It's not going to be done for you. Amy's not giving you a present, a package where instantaneously you're going to have 15 private lenders knocking at your door. They're going to have $10 million to invest with you. You got to put the work in. And people hate the word work. It's an ugly word, but guess what? You got to do it. You got to put in the work in order to achieve the results.
Right. But what's cool is I make it very easy for you to follow, where even as early as module 1, like my students don't even realize they're starting to raise capital. So it's pretty cool. We built a cool community, and you know, we've got each other's backs, and then that leads to other things, you know, like shared resources and other parts of our businesses. So yeah, you guys, I'm here for you. You want to see results? Great. I'll hold your hand every step of the way. You know,
and here's what I'm going to do, Aim. I'm going to give my listeners $500 back off that $34.97. So if they go to raisingpm.com/Billy, my gift to you, because you guys are my listeners, I don't need the money. It goes right back to you. You get a nice discount. Amy, thank you very much, but give it to them. And honestly, and so utilize it. You're talking, you know, for a little bit less than $3,000, you guys are going to go into this and have a full-time coaching coach on how to raise private capital. You're going to have a community, and you're going to have basically everything you need to fill that void to start earning the cash, bring in the cash, and start doing these deals. You need the money, guys. You need the money to do the deals. It's not just going to happen overnight, but it can happen in just about as instantaneously as possible if you use our course. Good stuff.
Yeah. So, yeah.
This is good.
I can talk about this forever, but I don't want to.
No, I get it. I get it. So look, I appreciate you being on here. It's good to see you. I want myself, you and your husband, and my fiance, Nicole, to get together. And I know you have New York people that you come out here too. So we're actually, one of our things that we're going to be doing is we're just going to start once every 5 weeks, choose a city to go fly out to, have no idea where we're going to go, get on the plane and just fly out, only in the United States. We do just to like 4-day weekends to get away. So we'll make sure we head out to your neck of the woods.
I would love that. And yeah, let's talk again when you have a minute, because I have an idea for when I'm in town next. I think it would be a lot of fun.
Good. Well, listen, I appreciate everybody listening. It's all about private capital. If you're in the business, leads and money, you got to marry the two. Deals and money, you got to marry the two. So go out there and make it happen. Utilize Amy's course. Even if it's not Amy's course, just get off your ass and go out there and start doing something, because you got to make action happen in order to start getting the results.
Yeah.
I'm out. Billy Alvaro. Amy, appreciate seeing you and appreciate you giving your expertise today.
Thank you. Bye, guys.